It was midnight in Jerusalem. The silence of the streets contrasted with the storm in Thomas's heart. He paced back and forth, unable to rest. The news of Jesus' resurrection had spread among the disciples like wildfire, but in his mind there was only a whirlwind of uncertainty. Could this really be true? He murmured, gazing at the starry sky. How can I believe in what I have not seen with my own eyes? Thomas loved Jesus. He had walked with him, listened to his words of life, witnessed undeniable miracles. He had seen the blind receive sight, the paralyzed walk, the dead return to life. And yet, now that his brothers proclaimed, "The Lord has risen," a knot tightened in his chest. For him, faith was not just emotion, it was conviction. And at that moment, his conviction was fragile, like glass on the verge of breaking. That night, the disciples were gathered in a locked house, fearing persecution. The room was small, lit only by trembling oil lamps. When Thomas entered, everyone turned toward him, their eyes filled with an unexplainable joy. "Thomas," Peter said, almost in tears, "we have seen the Lord. He is alive among us." John added, "He showed us his hands and his wounded side. It is impossible to doubt. Jesus has risen." Thomas stood still, looking at each of them. The glow on their faces was real, but his heart refused to surrender. "I must see," he replied firmly. "I need to touch the marks of the nails. Only then will I believe." Silence fell over the group. No one dared to argue. Deep down, they all knew. They too had doubted until they had seen the impossible before their eyes. The days that followed were heavy for Thomas. He wanted to believe, but every time he prayed, his mind cried out, "What if all this is only an illusion?" 8 days later, they were gathered again. Fear still lingered, but now there was a quiet expectation in the air. And suddenly, the locked doors were no barrier. The presence of the Master filled the room. Jesus was there. There was no sound of footsteps, only the peace that invaded their hearts. His eyes were the same that had often looked at the disciples with tenderness. His voice echoed gently, yet firmly, "Peace be with you." Hearts trembled, tears flowed, but Jesus wasted no time. His eyes sought Thomas directly. Thomas froze. His body shook. He wanted to speak, but his voice failed. Then Jesus, with infinite compassion, extended his hands, marked by the nails, and said, "Thomas, come here. Touch my hands. Place your hand in my side. Do not be unbelieving, but believing." The words were like fire and balm at the same time. Jesus did not rebuke him harshly. He offered exactly what Thomas had asked for: living, tangible, undeniable proof. Thomas felt his legs weaken. He approached, tears in his eyes, and without even needing to touch, he fell to his knees. The doubt that consumed him dissolved like mist before the sun. "My Lord and my God," he exclaimed, his soul cleansed. It was the deepest confession of his life. He not only acknowledged the resurrection, he recognized the divinity, eternity, and sovereignty of Christ. Then Jesus smiled tenderly and said the words that would echo through the centuries. "Because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." In that moment, Thomas realized that his doubt was not a sign of weakness, but part of his journey. And Jesus, with love, showed that even doubts can lead to a deeper faith. Thomas's story is not that of a weak man, but of someone honest with himself, who would not settle for half answers. His sincerity opened the way to a transforming encounter. And the lesson is clear. All of us, at some point, carry questions, uncertainties, and hesitations. But faith is not the absence of doubt, It is the courage to continue even when we cannot see the whole path. Jesus does not condemn those who doubt. He draws near, shows his scars, and offers peace. True faith is born when we choose to trust beyond what our eyes can see.